Hey everybody, C Note here, and welcome to the C Note Audio Extravaganza. This is your host, Mr. Christian Rivera, bringing you the show that is like asking for too much money at once. A ludicrous idea. Anyway, that was not a good joke. I don't know, I just thought of that right now. I don't have any. I gotta start writing these down so that it'll be ready for me when I start a show. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk about goals versus process, meaning what to focus on from a business perspective, and really just from a personal perspective. I think American culture-wise, we put a lot of emphasis on just getting $1 million by a certain age or something like that, or getting to a certain stage by a certain age, and not respecting the process enough. We get frustrated by the fact that we're not there yet, and we don't love it enough. So with that, let's elaborate some more and have ourselves a jolly good time.
Drums, please.
North, west, south, west, south, side, right, yeah. Now here it is.
Hey everybody, welcome to the C Note Audio Extravaganza, and today we're going to talk a little bit about process versus goals. And for me, thinking about process is like I keep thinking about, do I want to do this podcast daily, weekly, monthly? I don't know. And how much am I loving it? But ultimately, when I start talking, I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. I do want to up my game a little bit. I want to include some more breadth of research topics, a little bit more of like factual stuff, and not just me talking from a place of experience, which I think is good and valuable to people, but sometimes it's a little bit hard to believe what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily saying that you should or shouldn't believe what I say, but at the same time, I'm not pretending to be an expert, but I'm also being an expert in some things that involve experience. Like, it's more of a thought leader thing and more thought process stuff. Like, I don't want you to take exactly what I say and regurgitate it out into the world. I just want to implant thoughts in people's brains, which is why I enjoy this process. It's more like having a conversation and talking. And I do want to have actual conversations more on this podcast, meaning having more guests and getting people involved in the show, which I think would be really interesting and a lot of fun, which goes along with the idea for me of planning more researched topics and having a more wider breadth of content, and not just doing this off the seat of my pants, because I just kind of feel like I just feel like talking for a while, so I just decided to do this, which is part of the beauty of the platform. But at the same time, I tend to do this a little bit unprepared. Like, I think about the topic a little bit, and then I just kind of spitball it and go for a while, as you can tell by me talking right now. And so a lot of my goals and plans for 2018 are very process focused, which is why I wanted to talk about this topic. Because particularly in American culture, we put a lot of focus on goals. You have to get to a certain stage by a certain time. And maybe beyond American culture, but I think American culture in particular focuses on this. We have a lot of thoughts about where certain people should be at a certain time in their lives. You got to be in college at this time, or do this at this time. You got to be married by this time. You got to have kids by this time, or it's too early to have kids by this time. It's too late to have kids by this time, etc., etc., etc. So that's interesting. I just got a very disappointing text message. So I was looking at it, and I paused for a second. So it's for me, focusing on process is going to be a really big deal, and it's going to be a lot of fun. When you focus on process, it allows you the opportunity to really just do it every day and love what you do and not focus on goals. Oh, now I remember I lost my train of thought. Now I'm back. Okay. So with American culture, a lot of people talk about, where they should be at a certain time in their lives, and that follows this process of goals of you need to be working constantly to get to your goals. You need to be doing this and this and this. And then when people get to those goals, they're still unhappy. You're not really focusing on the the breadth of who you are as a person. You're just focusing on, I need to be this by this time to be happy or to be successful. And really being a success is not even focusing on money. It's not focusing on like the material thing or the promised feeling at the end of the rainbow, as it were. It's more about just enjoying what it is that you do. If you're an illustrator, like make sure you love it and do it every day. Set yourself up to enjoy the process. And I think I'll talk about that a little bit more next, like setting yourself up for continuing to enjoy the process every day. So you really want to make the process as seamless as possible. You want to set yourself up to be able to just kind of get up and do it. If you have to like set things up or create new areas in your environment to allow for doing what it is, if there's too many hurdles in the way between you and doing the things that you want to do, then you're less likely to want to do them. And that's frustrating, at least for me. That's very frustrating. And we do need to consider the fact that there's a limited amount of bandwidth that we have every day in terms of decision making. There is a such thing as decision fatigue, and particularly as an artist or someone who is creating something or doing a podcast or talking, or really anyone doing any kind of business, there's a certain amount of fatigue that or a certain amount of will that you have to put towards your decision making every single day. And really what will allow you to be more focused on your goals is to mitigate and limit those decisions that you have to make every day. That means like setting up your closet in a way that allow you to get dressed easier in the morning. You're not searching for your clothes, which is something that we recently have set up. Like we've been in this state of limbo. Molly and I have been in this state of limbo where we're kind of putting our apartment together and we had kind of our clothes everywhere, and like it's just been kind of a mess. But we finally found a dresser yesterday and some additional storage and some under the bed storage, and there's like, it just felt so good to get out of the shower and just immediately open a drawer and everything's there, and like I can sort of get myself in tune with the process so that I don't have to think so much about like, okay, where is this, or I have to grab a certain, like sift through something just to find something. Like that's annoying. Not only does it waste time, but it wastes your mental energy in trying to like figure out where something is. So, it's like grab your socks, your underwear, your jeans, shirt, boom, good to go. You don't even have to think about it so much. Setting up your closet in a way that like, you could grab the next things in line, or even if you want to go to the next step, and like if you're working a job early in the morning, to lay out your stuff the night before so you're limiting the amount of energy you're using in the morning. That's good too. So, employ those types of tactics when it comes to like your work. If you have a set workstation, you can kind of set yourself up the night before for what it is you want to do the next day. So if you're doing like a certain type of drawing one day, but you want to focus on a different kind of drawing, say you're doing like colored pencil sketches one day and you want to do charcoal drawing the next day, then shift your environments to allow yourself to sit down and just start it as soon as you get to your place of your desk or your place of work, and get yourself situated. Clean up the night before, little things that so that the first thing that you're doing when you sit down is not cleaning up after yourself. You're limiting those barriers between you and the thing that you want to do. Make sure your sketchbooks are handy or your laptop is set up. So like today, for example, I have some of my studio recording equipment set up, so I'm going to start setting that up so that I can more easily just start talking into the microphone and do more of my pre-recorded podcasts. So I don't have to spend time during the morning doing this. I can spend a few hours later in the day today and record some podcasts in advance, which is part of my goal for 2018 to 2018 is still a weird thing to say. I remember when like 2010 was like the future. Now we're almost in 2018. Life keeps moving fast. But anyway, so I have audio interface set up, and I'm trying to basically, like, the beauty of Molly and I's setup and relationship is that we're both thinking about things that way. We're thinking about the practical as well as aesthetic, and basically we're thinking about aesthetics and function. So I've got my audio interface here. I'm going to make sure that's set up so that I can more easily record music, and that I can just kind of like plug things in and just get ready to go and start doing it. I've got processes in place for how to archive files, and like basically just trying to that's why I get so much done, because I focus a lot on process and loving the process more than anything.
If you've been dying to start that podcast about doves, or about your favorite jacket, or about a long-lost love, or a murder mystery about a cat who murdered everybody, you can start it now on Spotify for podcasters. I've been on Anchor for a long time, and now it is officially Spotify for podcasters, and it has been a platform that has been growing for forever. And I love it, and I still use it to this day, and it has hosted this podcast for 500 plus episodes now. So I highly recommend it. It is free to use. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. I'm literally on my bed recording on the phone is on the bed, and I'm just talking, and it's not that complicated. And then you can distribute your podcast on Spotify and everywhere else that podcasts are heard. So video podcasts are available too if you want to show your pretty face and have people see you. And you can do all that too. So just do it. It's totally free, no catch. Give it a try. Spotify for podcasters. Let's go.
So what I really love about process is that you take control of it. It's something that you got to take a little bit of time up front to think about. You have to think about it. Involves a certain self-awareness to really implement. You have to get to know yourself, what your ideal schedule is, what your best place to work is. Like if you like working at home or at a coffee shop, if you need easy processes in the morning, if you don't like to cook, what foods can you have around that are easy to make for yourself so that it's not a complicated thing and takes extra energy that you don't need to expend. Depending on, and if you love cooking, make sure you're setting up some time to be able to do that, because that's included in part of the process of creating, is allowing yourself time to rest. And it's a little bit sad that we have to think about rest as a part of the work process, like that we don't look at leisure or rest as a part of the human experience, but as something that we need in order to succeed. It's sad that we have to kind of paint it that way, but it's true. You need to allow yourself time to breathe and rest and relax. Like, I love doing this podcast because it allows me to just kind of like talk and get things out of my brain, and it's very relaxing to me, despite it being something that is a working thing. But also throughout the day, making sure you're taking time to drink enough water, get up, make some food, or go get some food, or go talk to someone for a while, and just sort of listen to yourself and be able to include those bits into the process. Take some time to go to the gym, which is something I'm slowly working on integrating into my process, especially now that I've essentially set up my process to allow me to work from home more, so I don't have to worry about taking the time to pack up, go to Starbucks, make sure I find an outlet, because my laptop doesn't stay on for very long. The battery's kind of old and dying. So I don't have to worry about that so much. I don't have to spend $5 or $6 on coffee, because we just bought this adorable little Keurig machine, which I will post on my Instagram stories later today at Rival My Design. And now we can more easily make our own coffee and have our own things, and I don't have to worry about. Basically, I've saved myself a lot of time and trouble and for that. I really appreciate it. I think there was a point and I kind of lost it. I tend to lose my train of thought pretty easily. I got to work on that. But I've improved my process quite a bit, and it's allowed me to kind of get up, sit here. We have this little table in the corner, which is super cute, and my laptop just kind of stays set up here. Molly's got her stuff set up here. She's got her iPad on like our little makeshift coffee table situation, so she sits there in the morning and does some drawing, and she has her own process as well, and she does like morning motivation and meditation stuff that Miracle Mornings she calls it, or I think she got it from somewhere else, but listen to her station, Darling Rage Nation, if you are not familiar, and she'll be posting some more stuff in 2018 as well. Actually, she's going to be doing a lot of interviews in the next few months, so there's going to be a lot of stuff coming from her, so follow her stuff. We did, we had a nice breakfast yesterday and went through a lot of our goals and what we want to do both separately and together. And I think we both have a lot of ambitions, and for that, we want to set goals for ourselves, but also we really love the process. We want to love every single moment of every single day. And for that is not only a good way to exist, but a good way to get things done, because you love what you do. It's easy to do what you love, and you don't have to linger on it or worry so much. You kind of just go. You kind of just do. So have some goals. Get yourself set up for how you want to meet those goals. But at the same time, I would suggest focusing and emphasizing on the process. What about the process can you change? What do you love about it? What do you dislike about it? And what could you shift? If you have some thoughts about your own process and how you get things going, share that in a call-in. I'll talk to you later. Hey everybody, I want to thank you guys for listening to the CEDO Audio Extravaganza. If you would like to go to HiMyNameIsChristian.com, you can sign up for my newsletter where you'll get the written version of the podcast, and follow me on Rival My Design on all the social channels and all that good stuff. We can chat and have ourselves a jolly good time wherever it is that I am. So I really appreciate it. And thank you guys. I hope you have a good one.